What if I told you that all that bad luck you've been having lately is actually the best news you've gotten all year? That feeling that your life is falling apart right when you feel like you're on the edge of a breakthrough? Well, maybe it's not a punishment. Maybe it's a final exam.
And this quote really gets to the heart of what we're exploring today. So often, we ask for something incredible, right? A miracle. But when the universe sends us the training montage for that miracle, we just see it as a problem. We misinterpret it as a setback, and we give up, sometimes right at the finish line.
Okay, so let's get into it. The source material for this explainer calls this whole process the divine assessment, and I want you to think of it like a cosmic audit. Before the universe can hand you the keys to that amazing new life you've been trying to manifest, it has to do a quick check to make sure you're actually ready for it.
So, here's how we're going to break this all down. First, we'll get a handle on what the divine assessment really is. Then, we're going to decode 3 huge tests that the universe might be sending your way. A test on abundance, one on chaos, and one on your past. And then we'll wrap it all up by talking about your final answer to these cosmic questions. This right here is the absolute core question of the divine assessment. When things get tough and challenges pop up out of nowhere, are you being punished or are you being prepared? The whole idea here is that it's always the second one. You're being strengthened, leveled up for something way better. I love this metaphor. The source asks us to think of ourselves as a vessel. See, if you're asking for this massive, life-changing blessing, the universe has to make sure your container, your vessel, is strong enough to actually hold it without cracking under the pressure. These tests, they're the process of reinforcing that vessel.
All right, let's jump into the first cosmic test. This one is called the management test, and it's all about how you handle your resources, specifically your money. It's like the universe becomes this master accountant, just watching how you manage the books. So picture this. You've been doing all your affirmations, you're visualizing wealth, you're feeling abundant, and then, boom, you get a tiny, almost insulting $200 bonus at work. Or maybe you find a $20 bill on the street. It kind of feels like a joke, right? Well, according to this idea, this is the test. And this lays out the 2 ways you can go. Here's how you fail. You react with that lack energy. You say, it's only 20 bucks. But here's the key to passing. You treat that small amount with the exact same gratitude, respect, and wisdom you would treat $1 million. You have to prove that you are a safe, responsible place for abundance to land. Okay, moving on to test number 2. This is called the vibrational match test. This one isn't about what you have, it's about who you are. It's all about checking if your internal state, your vibe, actually matches the reality you're trying to call in. Let's paint the picture for this one. You're trying so hard to manifest a peaceful, loving, high-vibe partner, but then you walk out your door and the world seems to have other plans. Your boss is yelling, the traffic is a nightmare, someone cuts you off, everything just feels like total chaos. So what is going on here? Well, the universe is basically asking you a very direct question. Are you a genuinely peaceful person, or are you just peaceful when everything's going your way? This test is specifically designed to see if that peaceful state you want is an authentic part of who you are, or if it's just, a fair weather preference. So think about it like this. If you want a partner who's a 10 on the joy scale, but you let a little traffic jam drop you down to a 2, you are a vibrational mismatch. You're not even tuned to the right station. To pass this test, you have to learn to hold on to your internal 10, that inner peace, even when the world outside is a chaotic 2. And now we come to what the source calls the hardest test of all, the one that loves to show up right before a huge breakthrough. It's the boundary test, and it almost always involves a little ghost from your past making a surprise visit. Oh yeah, this is the big one. An old door you thought was shut for good suddenly creaks open again. It could be an ex reaching out, an old job offer you used to dream about, or even an old bad habit. The universe is basically asking you, are you really done with this? Or are you going to go back and settle for the old you? So let's look at how this plays out. First, the scenario pops up. That old door opens just a crack. That's when you get hit with a real question. Have you really, truly changed? And your choice, well, that sends a massive signal. If you walk back through that door, you're saying you're not ready. But if you close it firmly, that's the ultimate green light for the new thing you've actually been asking for. Okay, let's bring it all together. We've talked about the tests of management, of vibration, of boundaries. So how do you make sure you're passing? It all comes down to one fundamental shift in how you see the world. The thing is,
The universe doesn't speak in English, right? It communicates through the circumstances of your life. Every single challenge, every frustration, every unexpected test. It is not random noise. It's a direct question. And your reaction? That's your answer.
And this, right here, is probably the most powerful mindset shift you can possibly make. It completely changes the game. You go from being a victim of your circumstances to an active player. Instead of feeling like life is attacking you, you start seeing every single event as a chance to prove your growth, your strength, and your readiness for whatever's next.
So, I'll leave you with this to really think about. The next time you face a challenge, whether it's big or small, just remember, it's a question. The universe is leaning in, listening very closely. What is your answer going to be?